Welcome to the Introduction to Scholarly Research video series. This is video 1, Research versus Scholarly Work. By the end of this tutorial, students will understand the difference between medical research and scholarly work. They will know what the research life cycle is and where their scholarly work fits into the cycle, and understand the basic process undertaken when completing scholarly work. So what is the difference between research and scholarly work? Let's start with some definitions. Medical research is a scientific endeavor or investigation. The focus is to look deeply at a condition, treatment, prevention, strategies, etc., all with the goal of trying to improve the human condition, advancing healthcare, and patient well-being. You're out there working collaboratively in a lab or in a doctor's office or community center of some kind, finding people to answer questions, maybe consent to giving blood, or figuring stuff out in a lab. With medical research, you're out there doing the thing. Scholarly work, on the other hand, is much more academic. It's done by scholars for scholars. The ultimate goal might be to help patients, but that is more secondary to the more short-term goal of disseminating ideas, generating new concepts, and levels of understanding. The difference between scholarly work and research is more one of nuance or distinction rather than discrete differences. The research life cycle is the process a researcher undertakes when completing any sort of research project or study. The scholarly work happens at the beginning and at the end of that cycle. Scholarly work is a part of research as a whole, and medical research flows out of that scholarly work. That's not to say that scholarly work in and of itself, by itself, isn't a valid form of research, because it totally is, but it's a specific type of research. You can complete your scholarly work without entering the realm of medical research. You cannot complete research without first conducting the scholarly work. They are parts of a whole. So how do we do it? How do we go about actually doing scholarly work? Luckily, there are steps we can take as we go about conducting our scholarly work. I don't actually like the word steps because that makes it sound like once you're done with one, you can move on to the next without having to ever go back. Unfortunately, in both research and scholarly work, that is just not the case. That life cycle was in a circle for a reason. Research is iterative and depends on you asking increasingly complex or new questions. The answers you find then develop additional questions or lines of inquiry. It's an open-ended exploration and engagement with existing and new information, and you want to maintain an open mind and critical stance throughout the entire process. But looking at these 5 broad steps does help us organize ourselves so that we don't miss anything. We have 5 big parts of the process: question formulation, literature searching, reading and critical appraisal, writing, which encompasses posters as well, and journal selection. And within each of those steps, there are other steps, or you can think of them as drafts, and you're going to go back and rethink, modify, and try again within each one. It's pretty rare that anything gets done perfectly the first time, so be prepared to go back and possibly make some changes as you move through the process. Where does the library fit into this process? The library can help you with every single step in this process, except for maybe the writing part. One of us will be happy to read it over for you, but we're not really trained in assessing medical writing, so you're going to want somebody else to help you with that part. But for every other aspect of this process, the library is here to help, and we can stay with you from the beginning to the end. Something to remember when you're in the middle of it all. For more information on the individual parts of the process, you can view the complete series on the Medical Scholarship and Medical Databases LibGuides. Each tutorial is only 5 minutes and will give you a good overview of the entire scholarly work process. If you have any questions about any aspect of scholarly work, please do not hesitate to contact either of your health sciences librarians. Our jobs revolve around this exact process, and we'd be happy to help you through it. Thank you.